The TV1 News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello and welcome to TV1 News. I'm Marisela Keleton.
And I'm Tracy Pa. Join me later for sports.
In this edition, fallen heroes remembered in dawn service. Special remembrance of Mulitaka victims. And Prime Minister explains diversion of Gulf BDG funds.
The national observance of the 43rd Remembrance Day took place at the Remembrance Park at Ella Beach in the nation's capital this morning. The 23rd July Remembrance Day is held annually to commemorate the fallen seamen, soldiers and airmen who selflessly laid their lives both during the Second World War and in their line of duties in the current day.
On the 23rd of July 1942, approximately 1,000 meters from Awala village, Northern Province, the Papuan Infantry Battalion, barefoot soldiers fired their first shot. That day today is marked to commemorate the sacrifice they made for Papua New Guinea's peace, which many enjoy today. On this day, Papua New Guineans remember with pride their courage, their compassion and their comradeship. They also remember the allies who fought alongside them for PNG's freedom during the two world wars. To observe this day at about 5:30 a.m. this morning, a dawn service was held at the Tarama Barracks. Soldiers, officer cadets, the PNGDF hierarchy, Tarama Primary School students and the Tarama community turned up in numbers to pay tribute to these fallen soldiers. It was a small yet significant service that concluded with the laying of wreaths. Guest speaker and member for Mosby South Justin Tichenko was not able to attend the ceremony. Nonetheless, the dawn service ran smoothly without delay and disruptions.
On 24th May 2024, a devastating landslide struck Yambali village in Mulitaka, Enga province. Within 2 hours, the Task Force Command Headquarters Highlands region mobilized their efforts to support the people there. In the lead-up to Remembrance Day today, on Sunday 21st July, members of the Joint Task Force held a small yet significant service for the people of Mulitaka who were left grieving for the 9 they had buried at the temporary care center only 200 meters away from the site of the disaster.
Unconfirmed are the numbers of people buried by the Yambil Mulitaka landslide of 24th May 2024. Many fear the numbers reached as far as 2,000. The surviving people of Mulitaka who lost their homes, property, and most significantly, members of their families now live in care centers. The lead up to their inaugural dawn service program this morning, the Task Force Command Headquarters Highlands region on Sunday 21st July commemorated the lives of the 9 buried at the temporary care center at Mulitaka and the numbers of unconfirmed dead buried beneath the rubble of the landslide, only 200 meters away. Colonel Banda, PNGDF's Chief of Joint Operations Branch who oversees the Task Force Command Headquarters Highlands region, highlighted the critical work and the role the PNGDF play in the face of challenges faced by the country in the most volatile yet hub of economic development of the country. Despite the sobering losses of life, the challenges faced on the security front still remain.
Defense forces have a huge footprint in the Highlands, and so when the disaster happened, Mulitaka, or even the disaster that happened in Chimbu, we retasked the force elements that were on the ground to attend to the issues and support the local authorities.
Major Chris Calvale, Operations Officer of the Joint Task Force Highlands, said that work is in progress on the new bypass road being constructed by the Engineering Battalion from IGAM.
Engineers team, they are doing the construction of the bypass. So far, the bypass is now into 1.5 kilometers. As of the last 2 days ago, they have done the 200 meters additional onto that.
For the surviving people of Mulitaka at the care centers, the danger of another disaster is a real possibility with the discovery of threatening cracks on the land. Although asked to move to a safer location, that safe location is still yet to be determined by local authorities, as the survivors are afraid to move due to existing conflicts with enemy tribes. As the country commemorates those whose lives have been lost in the service to this nation, and the members of the Papua New Guinea Defense Force in the Highlands honor those who have been lost in Mulitaka, so too must they keep in their thoughts and prayers the current 7 members of the PNGDF and its sister disciplined forces as they continue their service.
Back in Port Moresby, the PNG Defence Force observed the Remembrance Day at Tarama Barracks early this morning. Members of the military were joined by the neighbouring community to pay respects to the fallen.
Governor General Grand Chief Sir Bob Dadai, member for Moresby South Justin Tichenko, and NCD Governor Powers Pakov were a few parliamentarians who turned up at the Remembrance Park at Ella Beach in the nation's capital to commemorate the 23rd Remembrance Day celebrations today. This year theme was "Their Legacy, Our Inspiration, Lest We Forget." In remembering those whose lives were affected by the war, Grand Chief Sir Bob Dadai said the contributions made by these people were invaluable in supporting those on the front line. To them, their world was nothing more than the orders they received from their superiors, and they were determined to serve to the fullest of their abilities.
They were people in their own time. Many of them died without telling us their names, or where they came from, or where their family are, and what their dreams were.
Dadai said those men were surrounded by orders and a duty to care. They understood their duty to serve, and they served with pride and distinction.
Demonstrated obedience and selflessness at the highest level. But little did they know that the actions would, in fact, be the reason why we all stand here today as a country and as people.
He said one man at the time fought for a society that is disciplined and well-ordered, where families are protected, leaders are respected, women and girls are cared for, youths are well-behaved, and children are groomed to become better citizens. However, the foundations and building blocks of villages and communities have broken down. Ill discipline and disorder have become serious problems facing us today. This is not the kind of society and community our heroes fought for.
Let us not disappoint our forefathers. Their sacrifice is a wish for lasting peace and harmony. Let it not be in vain.
The Grand Chief urged citizens to take a moment to remember by celebrating the memory of the people who fought for them to build a stronger and united country. Tracy Pa, Tvwan News.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands, Physical Planning and Urbanization John Rosso called on both Papua New Guineans and foreigners not to settle on land that is not theirs or land that does not have a clear title. Rosso made this call as the eviction exercise continues at Bushwara 9 Mile area in Port Moresby.
Deputy Prime Minister John Russell has issued a stern warning to Papua New Guineans and foreigners not to settle on land that do not have a clear title. Russell issued this warning following the eviction exercise at Buswara 9 Mile in Port Moresby. Russell said records from the Department of Lands, Physical Planning and Urbanization show that NSL purchased the land portion with various court decisions consecutively recognized NSL's ownership of the land. Therefore, the ongoing eviction is lawful and is the right thing to do. He said through the Lands Partnership Program, a support of 20 million kina was committed to assist the resettlement of families to have proper allotments and build proper properties and resettle them at portion 1221 at 14 Mile and portion 4794C at Faria. Russell said this plan is in support of initiatives by the Office of the Member for Moresby North East to permanently resettle the evicted families with properly developed allotments. Russell added that the government has policies like the Land Partnership Program to support the development of land by working closely with title landowners and customary landowners.
Families who survived a number of recent natural disasters in the Eastern Highlands province will be issued shopping vouchers because their livelihoods had been disrupted. Distribution of the vouchers began in Upper Asaro in the Daulo district. The exercise continued today in Lower Asaro. The Provincial Disaster Office will be distributing the vouchers of 5,000 kina households to across 8 districts.
Thousands of families across the Eastern Highlands, especially those whose lives have in recent times been disrupted by landslides and flooding, are being given shopping vouchers by the national government to help them get back on their feet. Families in Upper Asaro in Daulo district were the second lot of people to get the vouchers from the Provincial Disaster Office. The first were families in Kabiufa. Provincial Disaster Director Danny Benjamin and his team of assistants are distributing these food assistance vouchers.
All victims list where controllers give him. And me behind him this lata sol na me straight him name list na me karim come again lo you plus so. But you me behind him this la name list na keep him help him. Love test they also me fly him. O kago blow line blow me lo marawakai go finish. O line simbagarap control blow bring him go finish. Life too, you me losing fopla life. And I'm all got a life put down here, I'm lo Hanganofi district. So me got big pla heavy now one time Hanganofi district. And you me lo here, I'm garden, waran, rousing garden, a house, na school, na all this la. So inside lo this la heavy quick time. Me like to thank you lo all council lo you me lo here one time leader president. All go come, me talk hat one time, all talk hat lo me pla making go. Or reports all give him come, me pla compile him, na mi salim golo Moresby. Time mi salim golo Moresby, and me pla ikisim sambla good pla ensa. National government am giving one pla 500,000 lo Eastern Highlands.
The national government responded to Eastern Highlands' call for relief with 500,000 kina. This funding is being utilized as food vouchers for the 5,000 households, serving 35,000 impacted individuals.
Ili no kating good communication na respond na melo yumi leadership na yumi officers now delay emi come up. But one when national government big pla government pla yumi emi look sawen na give him ya. And now emi mi karim come now. One emi click where me can inaplo give him you pla. And by me till him na melo all get a it pla district.
Mr. Benjamin was disappointed that 3 to 4 months have passed before they received any kind of government support. After the food vouchers for Upper Asaro were distributed, Ward Councillor Peter Asiune appealed for more government assistance. Mr. Benjamin said for districts that are unreachable by road, including Obura Woninara, relief supplies will be airlifted. Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
You're watching TV1 News. Among stories after the break, modernized poultry farming and staff houses planned for Grace Memorial Secondary in Morbe. These stories and more when we return. Stay with us.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSP Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase easy pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSP branch today to register now for BSP Mobile Banking. BSP Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
Hiya, Mama. You wait then, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magic kakaru, get up a big smile on face. Time for kim chicken, a great kumutu. Sip, sip, the moo, yes, magic on you.
Maggi, the taste PNG loves.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SP Lager, Bunyam Yumi.
Papua New Guinea. We love a reason for a family gathering. A reason to play. A reason to ignite the flame. A reason to cook the best with the best. Flame Oil, now PNG made for PNG cooking. Flame Oil, winning taste.
Welcome back. The Papua New Guinea Defence Force Contingent Command Headquarters, Highlands region, hosted for the first time a Remembrance Day dawn service in Mount Hagen, Western Highlands Province this morning. The 43rd service held at Queen's Park is an extension of the Remembrance Day service that has long been observed in main centres like Port Moresby and Lae. Today, Western Highlands Province played host to its significant memorial event.
On the 23rd of July 1942, approximately 1,000 meters from Awala village, the PIB or Pacific Infantry or Papua Infantry Battalion barefooted soldiers fired their first shot.
For 43 years, the Papua New Guinea Defence Force has commemorated this day through the annual hosting of the Remembrance Day dawn service. This significant memorial event has grown over the years to not only observe the sacrifices of the men who served their country, Papua New Guinea, alongside the Allied forces during World War II, moreover, has taken on new meaning to remember those who have come to serve after, countless others who also paid the ultimate price with their lives.
And through their sacrifice, we stand together today to commemorate their loss, but also thank them for the values and the freedom that we gained from that historical moment.
This morning, 29 men from the Highlands region who lost their lives during active service for the Papua New Guinea Defence Force were remembered in the inaugural Remembrance Day dawn service at the Queen's Park. As their names were recited on the Roll of Honour, 7 members of the PNGDF, the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary, and the Corrections Service personnel and the people of Mount Hagen solemnly listened.
Jiwaka Province, Private Kevin, Bravo Company, 2nd Battalion, killed in action, North Solomons Province, 1993. Sembu Province, Sergeant Moiwo, Admin Company, 1st Battalion, 36th National Capital District.
This honor roll was presented to Western Highlands Governor Y. Rapa, who vowed at this inaugural service to ensure an annual budget for this service to continue into the future.
I would like to thank the serving Defense Force. I would like to thank them for the services given to this great country. I would also like to thank those ones who've left us. They've sacrificed their lives in the line of duties to save this country, Papua New Guinea.
The event witnessed the laying of wreaths honoring the men of the Highlands region and recital of the Ode of Remembrance by retired Lieutenant Colonel Funge. The annual Remembrance Day dawn service commemorates the forefathers who, in a time of need, took up arms in the call of defense and fought off the invading Japanese alongside their allies. More so, this day calls for Papua New Guineans from all walks of life to remember all the members of not just the PNGDF, but the country's disciplined forces altogether who served and lost their lives in Bougainville and various deployments at the borders and within the country.
Teachers at the Grace Memorial Secondary School in Marabe Province will soon be accommodated on campus. This was one of the projects that were launched in Wawaria District on Monday, July 22nd.
Quadruplex Teachers House will be constructed at the Grace Memorial Secondary School in Wawaria District. Valued at over 1,286,000 kina, the staff house was one of a number of projects launched at the WOW field, including a truck for the school, a 4-in-1 813,000 kina plus double classroom for WOW Primary School, the beginning of the 2 million kina Kindy Road construction, and 3 LLG vehicles. Speaking at the event, WOW Warrior MP Mash Narawe alluded to the 2 previous launching of infrastructure and vehicles, saying all these would not have been possible if he had been entertaining individual wants and needs such as house cry, bus fare or plane tickets. The MP is disciplining his electorate to do away with the mindset that as long as someone votes for him, that individual is entitled to cash handout and other benefits, a norm in the PNG political landscape. He stressed that the district has money to progress itself because he is not entertaining personal requests. The 2 million kina Kindy Road construction is the first in over 50 years. 2 excavators were parked at the WOW field to signify the beginning of the project, with landowners and leaseholders encouraged to let construction take place to restore the mining township to its former glory. Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
Treasurer Ian Linstaki has clarified that the process of reopening the Pogera mine has been difficult, and the government continues to keep the budget under review inconsistent with parliamentary appropriations. He said the reopening of the Pogera gold mine is important for the country. He added that following some tough negotiations, the people of Papua New Guinea, especially the people of Enga and Pogera, will now receive much higher benefits for the decades into the future. The government support for this process is reflected in the 2024 budget, with 100 million kina set aside for the Pogera Infrastructure Development Grant. Other forms of support have also been provided to the Pogera district. Medan Provincial Livestock has delved into the development aspects of poultry within the province. Paul Habab, an officer with the Department of Agriculture and Livestock, spoke about poultry farming to 60 farmers in Bunabun village, Sumka district, during the financial literacy training graduation for these 60 farmers.
Poultry prospects were introduced to Kwakanam farmers of Bunabun village in Sumkar district by an officer of the Medan Provincial Livestock Division. Officer Paul Hubub works for the Department of Agriculture and Livestock. He shared development aspects of the Medang poultry project to the 60 farmers after they received their certificates in village banking. He encouraged the farmers to consider starting poultry farms. Mr. Hubub said the Medang poultry project is already off the ground since 2023. Awareness is being carried out in Sumgilbar LLG, Ambenob LLG, Astrolog Bay LLG, and Usino LLG.
This project, government has a time frame for delivering this project inside law 5 years. Starting law yet 2023, now it go on but finish law 2027. And we got thinking also by 2027, you may all get by Salim Kakaro.
Mr. Hubub explained that certain ward areas within these districts and LLGs will participate due to geographical challenges and remoteness. The next phase of the project will be training, and farmers are expected to gather in their cluster groups of cooperative societies in order for registration to begin. For Bunabun, the 2 cooperative societies indicated for interested farmers to join in are Sumgilbar Farmers and Wangil Cooperative Societies. They will need to gather at least 50 farmers in order to sign a solid contract with the provincial government to meet the demand and supply chain.
Government now look for driving over the development projects through the approach for cooperative society as well. So suppose you know stop inside the one cooperative society. Sampla road no you no kisim sampla album na senis eba hard legally.
Downstream processing and commercialization of poultry has already been captured in the medium-term development plan for 2023 to 2027. It is also incorporated in the recently launched Provincial Strategic Development Plan.
So requirements, you must receive FLT training, you must receive commercial poultry training, you must have a cluster group, you must have a cooperative society. That's all.
Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
Prime Minister James Marape has assured the people of Gulf that their business development grants are still intact and not diverted elsewhere as alleged. He clarified that there was an incorrect wording on a warrant instrument which the Treasurer has acted on and corrected.
Prime Minister James Marape has assured the people of this country that the Pangu-led government is allocating development funds to all resource areas, including Ramu and Lihir, as well as Gulf. Marape clarified this after a warrant was raised by Treasury diverting development funds allocated to Gulf Province to the Enga provincial government. The Prime Minister clarified that there was an incorrect wording on a warrant instrument, which the Treasurer has rectified. He assured the people of Gulf that their business development grants has not been diverted as alleged. Marape went on to reassure provincial governments that the government will not move what's budgeted for one area to another. When the warrant surfaced, Gulf Governor Chris Iweta took a strong stance and directed a lawyer to look into the matter and stop the payment of funds. It was alleged that a total of 60 million kina was raised by Treasury to pay the Enga provincial government. Of that, 20 million kina was for Gulf Province allocated in this year's budget. Gulf landowners in a media conference on Monday called for transparency and accountability of the disbursement of the funds.
So you want to make Gulf Province back on the street all the time? This is wrong. This is not on. Enough is enough. We've got to put a stop to all this nonsense. All these misappropriations and misuse and all that. And we want to tell the Prime Minister and his treasurer, in no uncertain terms, this is money blow me black come back.
Freddie Moe, TV1 News.
Prime Minister James Marape has emphasized the significant trade relationship between Japan and Papua New Guinea, valued at over $2 billion equivalent to 7 billion kina annually. During his recent address at the 4th Japan-Pacific Island Countries Economic Forum held in Tokyo, the Prime Minister expressed his gratitude towards Japanese companies for their contribution to this robust trade partnership.
Prime Minister James Marape has placed on record PNG's appreciation, with the volume of trade between PNG and Japan exceeding 7 billion kina, or over $2 billion. Speaking at the 4th Japan-Pacific Highlands Countries Economic Forum in 2024 in Tokyo, Japan recently, Prime Minister Marape thanked all Japanese companies operating in PNG while looking forward to continuing engagements with them. The Prime Minister told Japanese investors that PNG is a free market capital country with vast resources, a strong judiciary and arbitration process, a population of 15 to 20 million with consumption ability, and is significant within the Melanesian Solidarity Group countries, Pacific nations, and Southeast Asia, which makes us a competitive place for investment. He encouraged them not to fear and to feel free to invest in PNG, as there are many Japanese companies already in the country doing business since 1975. Marape also highlighted the extensive maritime resources of Pacific countries, underscoring their strategic importance. Combining all the Pacific nations together, PNG hold one of the biggest spaces on Earth, bordering Japan, USA, and Asia. Japan is consuming over 40% of tuna produced in the Pacific. Freddie Mo, TV1 News.
And now the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.2590 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, a kina was buying $0.2615 $0.3724 Australian dollars, €0.2231 euro, and 39.28 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold and crude oil closed higher, coffee, cocoa, and copper closed lower, and copper and palm oil closed the day unchanged. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, ASX closed lower, and all ordinaries closed lower as well. This is TV1 News. We'll bring you news from abroad after the break.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSP Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSP branch today to register now for BSP Mobile Banking. BSP Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo in milk taste and added nutrients, Milo in milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Find PNG made.
Open hands.
Hardware House is more than just a store. It is where quality meets affordability, where culture is proudly celebrated. Spanning 9 provinces, we pride ourselves in offering top-notch customer support and services. We're more than just a store. We're more than a brand. We are Hardware House.
Enjoy life when we're working together, making happy memories that last forever. Hot in talk, young or old, a scale race, family meal with home. We'll bring out the smiles, cause it's our favorite romance. Tennessee cola, scale rice, long scales, air pride.
Welcome back. In regional news, Cook Islands Prime Minister and PIF Chairman Mark Brown has confirmed that Japan's discharge of treated nuclear wastewater into the Pacific Ocean does not violate the Rarotonga Treaty. During his visit to Tokyo last week, Prime Minister Brown addressed concerns regarding the release of treated wastewater from the Fukushima nuclear power plant. He said the water has been treated to remove harmful isotopes and is well within the standard guidelines as outlined by the Global Authority on Nuclear Matters, and added that Japan was complying with its guidelines in its discharge of wastewater into the ocean. The Rarotonga Treaty, established during the 1980s Cold War, bans the use, testing and possession of nuclear weapons within the South Pacific Nuclear-Free Zone. It's been a busy weekend for cybersecurity analysts who have been helping businesses get back up and running after the CrowdStrike outage took down millions of computers globally. Some economists and business groups believe it cost the Australian economy billions of dollars.
It might be the first day back in the office for some, but employees at this cybersecurity firm have been helping clients all weekend.
It was a marathon run with our global teams working collaboratively together.
Millions of computers across the globe crashed after a software update by cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike went wrong. The outage upended Jetstar's network and left Felicity Sim's family stranded in Bali.
When we got to Bali airport, we saw that the flight had been cancelled. It's very stressful when you've got a young family.
Jetstar says it's working through the IT issues and has offered customers free flight moves or refunds. The fallout from the outage is expected to last for weeks.
This will cost the Australian economy multiple billions of dollars by the time we tally up the impact.
And it's unclear who will foot the bill.
Whether there might be some federal government scheme in place to help businesses seek redress, or if businesses are going to have to deal directly with CrowdStrike here to try to work through compensation through their insurance.
CrowdStrike's going to have to be accountable for this, and I think they understand that.
On CrowdStrike's website, it excludes liability for outages beyond its control, but customers who spent less than $100,000 on CrowdStrike software and fall under Australian consumer law may be entitled to cancel their contract and receive a refund for what's left of it, or seek compensation for foreseeable losses.
CrowdStrike has warned scammers are taking advantage of the situation and targeting customers. Experts say Australians should be alert to suspicious emails, as always. Meanwhile, some business groups are calling for government intervention to put in place contingencies to prevent a similar event causing so much chaos again.
A father and his young daughter who were killed by a train in Sydney's south have been identified. Local residents laid flowers at Carlton Station in honour of Anand and Ranwan and his daughter, Hinal.
Flowers and condolences. This is how locals are coming to terms with the tragic death of Anand Runwal and his 2-year-old daughter, Hinal.
This one, my head. It was just very sad.
CCTV shows the family of 4 just minutes before the accident. Police say when the pram rolled onto the tracks, Anand jumped down to try to rescue his twin daughters.
He's a very real hero.
News of their deaths has reached friends and family overseas.
No words to express. How to express I don't know.
While it's still unclear what caused that pram to roll onto the tracks, the horrific incident has some concerned locals calling for more safety measures on train platforms.
No security for baby.
Little kids are running around. They should have a little bit higher, like a little railing, just for protection.
I can't commit today to putting up the glass barricades that you've seen in metro stations across the system without knowing how that would be implemented.
The mother and her surviving daughter were released from hospital last night.
Honest to God, I feel so sorry for her. I don't know what she's going through.
A community offering support for a widow and her young daughter with no family here.
The Greeks are famous for their ancient culture, and while it might not be that old, a Hellenic club in South Australia's Mid-North has certainly reached a milestone this year. SA's oldest Greek club and Australia's second oldest is celebrating its 100th birthday. With many of the state's Greeks being able to trace their roots to Perry, and it's no wonder why, the centenary was a big one.
It may not be Mykonos, but for the Greeks who live on this small South Australian island, it's close enough.
You should soak some of these in ouzo too.
You soak everything in ouzo there. You can see the water that side, you've got the mountains on that side, and that's a pretty traditional view in most of the Greek islands.
Siblings Nix and Darnis and Kula Korniatakis call Waroona Island, just outside Port Pirie, home, while their brother Fred lives in the town.
I've got my young grandson, he's sixth generation Greek, still living in Port Pirie.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah, very proud.
Just down the road lives Nick's friend, Nick.
Yes, Nico.
Yes, Nico. Hey, come, mate.
Nick Kataris grew up in Port Pirie. His family's links to the area date back to the 1920s, and it was around that time, about 100 years ago, that the Greek community of Port Pirie Club was created. Established in 1924, it's SA's longest-running Greek club and Australia's second oldest.
A lot of Greeks came here to work in the smelters. They came here, you know, through working on the ships, a lot of seafarers, and a lot of people came here to farm. We're proud of our heritage, and we're proud to share it with people as well.
You know, when you think about the bigger cities and we're just a little dot on the map, yeah, we are, you know, very proud, very proud.
The Greeks who still live in and around Port Pirie continue to celebrate where they've come from and create their own little slice of home.
And that celebration culminated on the weekend with 350 people attending a ball to acknowledge the club's centenary. Many returning to the town to remember their Greek heritage, to share stories, laughter and the dance floor. And if the passion for culture continues, they'll be celebrating here for another 100 years.
Thanks for watching. Sports is next. Tracy will join us when we come back.
Life is about making memories, sharing new adventures. Go beyond the familiar. Don't let bacteria hold you back from experiencing the world. Protex uses natural antibacterial protection with flaxseed oil and eliminates 99.9% of bacteria. Free yourself. Go beyond with Protex.
Hi, I'm Chef Jules Hennow, and this is where my true inspiration for cooking started. Like most of us, I learned to cook from my mum. Nothing beats simple recipes where fresh local produce is at the heart, especially when it's a home-cooked meal, prepared and shared with the ones you love. And in PNG, no meal is complete without rice. And my choice is always True Guy. True Guy, true inspiration through generations.
At the PNG LNG project, we are proud of our long-standing partnership with the Kumuls, as they represent the hopes and aspirations of so many Papua New Guineans. Rugby league is more than just a sport. It promotes our shared values of leadership, teamwork, respect, personal integrity, and excellence. Lessons learnt on the pitch carry on throughout life and go beyond serving ourselves.
More than the life we've known, there is more to what the future holds. You be holy, man, no walk one time. Oh, 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 oh. We dare to be living incredible things. Oh, 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 oh. With money plus we're ready to go.
These two are creeping into your personal space. Why don't we send them packing? Oh, maybe not.
bang, bing.
Welcome back. The PNG touch football team was disqualified to participate in the recent World Cup in England, but was allowed to play friendly matches. In the friendly matches, they proved their class staging to gather strong performance in all divisions: Open Men, Open Women and Open Mix. The Open Men's defeated Lebanon 12-11 before losing to France 8-5. Team PNG bounced back to form from the France defeat with a massive 10-4 win over Scotland, and then put 21-1 against Oman before thrashing Philippines 20-2 over the weekend to round up their matches. The PNG team won 4 of its 5 friendly matches, demonstrating that they would have done better in the World Cup. The National Darts Championships is set to create waves in Kokopo, East New Britain province, as teams from across the country take the march in September 2024. Team NCD Darts Association participation would not have been possible without much needed funds raised from the NCD Corporate Darts Tournament. NCDDA will now prove its worth, taking center stage.
The NCD Darts Association organized NCD Corporate Darts Tournament held in 2023, and the first tournament this year was of big help in terms of financial support in sending a team to the championship in Kokopo come September. NCDDA recently announced its 2 teams representing both male and female and consist of over 20 players. President of NCDDA, Dr. Kapua Kapua, when announcing the team, was full of praise for the corporate dart tournament and the corporates for their support, as their contribution has made everything possible for NCDDA team.
I'm a lot more comfortable now, especially with the introduction of corporate darts. Has brought in a lot of funding for us, something that we've never been able to see our, to bring in. So the corporate darts, we have about 28 teams for this, the first tournament that just ended, and then we'll have 32 teams for our second tournament in August. It runs from August till end of November, early December. So with the corporate darts, obviously the corporates pay a fee, a registration fee, and then so I sort of went from I'll put it this way: if I ask a corporate for money, it's such a big sum they won't give. But if I ask a number of corporates at a small amount, they all give, and then that adds up to what I'm after. So that's sort of my strategy when I went into it. And we're hoping to, and I did tell, they know that this is for our elite players. Our players, a lot of our players are unemployed, and they can't afford the levy fees that we used to impose once upon a time. But so we'd end up sending people that could only afford it, and not so much the people that deserve to go. Yeah.
The NCD Corporate Dart is a concept introduced by NCDDA as a major fundraiser, with all proceeds going towards sending its elite players to tournaments and championships. The Corporate Dart competition was initiated last year, 2023, and this year introduced 2 tournaments, with the second one set for August 3rd. The concept is a win-win for both NCDDA and the corporate organizations, as they get together to socialize and build on relations and networks through the sport of dart. Susan Oriape, TV1 Sports.
Kickboxers from Simbu province who came to attend the recent National Kickboxing Championships in Port Moresby are stranded and can't return home. It's been 2 weeks after the event concluded, but the kickboxers are still in the nation's capital stranded. President of PNG Kickboxing Federation, Stanley Nandex, yesterday confirmed that he has so far assisted one fighter with her first. The rest of the fighters are still in the city. They are requesting assistance from their national leaders, allied of the province, corporate entities and interested individuals to help slide the remaining 6 kickboxers and 3 officials home. Kevin Gaspar, a renowned Australian sports administrator and former high-ranking IOC member, died at 90 after a short illness. Gaspar, who won a silver medal in the 4x400-meter relay at the 1956 Melbourne Olympics, served as an IOC member from 1977 to 2013. Flags were lowered to half-staff at the IOC's luncheon headquarters in his honor. He played a pivotal role in Team PNG's history as the first general team manager in 1962. The PNG Olympic Committee and the wider Olympic community mourn his passing. Mitchell Moses has undergone surgery on a biceps rupture, will commence rehabilitation with an aim to return to training in the 2025 pre-season. The halfback suffered the injury during his series-winning performance for New South Wales in the State of Origin decider. Teammate Charlie Gama is also set to miss the remainder of the 2024 season as well after sustaining an injury in round 19. The Rocky forward will undergo surgery in the coming days. Meantime, Roosters 5'8" Luke Carey has revealed his desire to finish his NRL career on a high before he turns his focus towards next year's move to France. The 32-year-old shocked fans last week when he announced he would join Super League club Catalans on a 2-year deal. This ends the sports segment, and now the weather focused with Mary.
Southern, isolated showers and thunderstorms. Utmost be partly cloudy but mostly fine. Momase, isolated showers and thunderstorms with areas of rain. Ley, partly cloudy with brief showers. New Guinea Islands, scattered showers and thunderstorms with areas of rain over Manus. Highlands, scattered showers and thunderstorms. Mandi, Tari and Wabeg, partly cloudy with some afternoon rain showers and possible thunderstorms. Coral Sea, seas rough with southeast winds of 20 to 30 knots. Bismarck Sea, seas rather rough to very rough with southeast winds of 20 to 30 knots increasing to 40 knots at times along warning areas. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border to Daru, to Kiwai Islands, to Kerama, to Yule Island, to Hood Point, to Samari Islands, seas 1.5 to 2 meters rising to 2.5 to 3.5 meters at times. Waters of Finchafen through Vitia Strait to CSC Long Islands, seas 1.5 to 2.5 meters, rising to 3 to 3.5 meters at times along gale warning areas. Waters of Samari Island to Cape Bogle and all Milne Islands, seas 1.5 to 2 meters rising to 2.5 to 3 meters along warning areas. And waters of West New Britain, seas 1.5 to 2.5 meters rising to 3 to 3.5 meters along warning areas.
This ends the sports segment. Over to you, Mary.
Thanks, Tracy. That brings us to the end of our news edition. Have a pleasant evening. Bye for now.
The Tvwan News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.